I mean, so I'm learning that a strong black woman is not for my money. I'm learning that she is more committed to the relationship and the components that make up a good relationship.
And so in the case of 6-year-old blue watermelon Ralph Angel, I'm saying you are not the father. Hey everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
And I'm Ron. And guess who we don't have? We don't have Tiffany. Oh my Lord, my prayers have been answered.
Well, not exactly.
Oh,
you have
geez.
Tiffany by phone.
Yes, I forgot. There is that thing called a phone. How are you, Tiffany?
I'm cool. I'm chilling in the A with my family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tiff is out of town this week, so she will be with us through the phone. And don't worry, her clapback game is just as strong over the phone.
If not stronger.
Exactly. Just because I'm calling in doesn't mean I can't check you, Ron.
Yeah, I'm already checked. But I'm good. I'm ready for you this week. So, you know, we're good. We're good.
All
Well,
right.
I'm going to have some backup. Because
Oh.
we had a power watch party last night with the fam. And so I've spoken to a few of my cousins. And a few of them just might join us with their thoughts.
Any
About the
guys?
show.
Any guys in that show? In your clan, is it gonna be all women? Do I have to defend myself yet again with a whole bunch of women?
No, actually, they're brothers. They're just men.
Okay, we got
So-
some male reinforcement for you,
I
Ron.
like that. Okay, so let's see what happens.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Baby, I know where the last one burnt you. Know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. You can't trust that I won't.
All right, guys, we're back. And like we always do, we're talking about power. This time, we're talking about episode 504 called Second Chance. So, man, there was a lot of stuff going on this episode.
Yeah, I see the build-up though for this climactic 10, maybe 10. I don't know when it's going to come, but again, I think we have one of these episodes. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
It is. The fifth episode of the season is always the turning point. So I think that next week is going to be like the big, woo, like that's the one that's going to get you shaking. But this one had plenty of stuff going on too. Yeah, I was thinking.
I think so too. Unfortunately, a couple of my cousins didn't think so. They thought, they could tell that it was building up, but a couple of my cousins thought that this season in particular was kind of slow. I mean, I'm a huge Power fan, so I get the formula and I see this as, a slow build as we talked about before.
Right.
Yeah, not a lot of killing, but hey,
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
I was thinking we could start off talking about Tommy. Just because, I don't know, Tommy, I know he's very suspicious of Teresi, and now that Teresi has gotten out, that's how last episode finished, where they were kind of riding off into the sunset together. But this week, the opening scene, he was kind of confronted by Ghost. Like, man, what you doing? What do you mean? You didn't even tell me Teresi's out of jail. I had to find out through Kanan, who's running his mouth.
and Tommy's kind of tripping. I mean, he should have known. Well, we know that he doesn't trust Teresi, but, Tommy, come on, wake up. I mean, Teresi tried to blackmail, Ghost a couple of times. He tried to, so let's wake up, man. I know that's your dad and everything. And, of course, Kanan had a perfect line yet again this week.
I was going to say that. He's talking about, his dad back. That's better than having a new puppy.
A new puppy. I'm like, and if you know about puppies, you got to love that line.
Yeah, Kanan's a trip.
And immediately he was like, we got to take him out.
Yep.
Right.
And go shut that down. But Kanan was like, look, we need to take Teresi out of here because, of course, he's a distraction for Tommy. And when Tommy has these distractions, it's clear that he doesn't think clearly,
Exactly.
i.e. Holly.
Yeah.
Well, Teresi has really been trying to endear himself to Tommy, too, trying to warm him up and get him talking by taking him to the grave site and telling him all these family stories and details and calling him my boy.
And that's going sideways because I think he's putting too much work in trying to bring Tommy on because Tommy's too smart for that. He's got too much street sense to know that this can't all be about me and Dad.
Yep.
So I think that's going to go sideways. If it's not going to go,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's going sideways.
I think
Clearly.
Tommy's gonna end up trying to either kill Teresi. He's gonna either find out what's what, or that situation that's going down with Vincent. Like now that you know, don't want to get too far ahead of y'all, but Kanan has dropped the dime about Tommy still having a beef.
Yeah.
You know, I think that has put not only Tommy in danger, but it's put Sammy in danger too, because Sammy lied to Vincent.
Yeah.
And, you know, told him that, Tommy took care of the problem. So I think it's going to be a whole beef. You know, Sammy might get killed behind that.
I think it's coming.
Yeah, that's a boatload of trouble, too, because Vincent's going to go back and do his little thing. He's going to report. And, of course, and Kanan, you know, just shot off his mouth. He didn't really understand what was the whole dynamics. But here again...
No, he understood. He understood. Because remember when Ghost said to them, like, I have a plan, like when he said we need to drop them, and he was like, no, we don't have to drop Teresi, we need to make the Italians drop Tommy without Tommy getting hurt.
Well, that's
so
what I was...
that was part of the plan, even though Kanan is out for himself.
No,
so he's doing this for himself, but the goal was to make sure that the Italians start looking at Tommy sideways, and they are now.
And that's what I was sharing with, you know, Tiara after the, you know, like, you know, when we got offline, it was my impression that Kanan knew exactly what he was doing, you know, and two, it does seemingly follow the plan that Ghost laid down in the beginning, which is make Tommy too hot.
Yeah, that was the purpose of the fake drive-by.
Right.
But I wasn't so sure that him spilling the beans about you. I think he just said the two dope boys were still after Tommy, but he wasn't privy to the conversation that Tommy had with Vincent when he was telling them that he had already taken care of it, when in actuality he hadn't. So I think that's just some fallout.
Just make it seem like Tommy is hot. I think he
said that, but he didn't understand the implications of that.
Yeah,
you know, so he probably just took from what Kanan said, like, hey,
Yep.
I'm thinking, but there were implications.
He told me this was taken care of, that he ain't have these beats. He wasn't gonna bring this type of problems on us, and you know, clearly he still has problems.
Yep.
Tommy is the issue.
Well, there are implications to what.
Yeah, he made Tommy hot, but he made it even hotter for Sammy too.
And Tommy, because everybody lied.
Yeah.
So you know, it's going to be interesting how they play into this.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing that was mentioned was Vincent, when he was at the welcome home party for Teresi, and Teresi's giving the speech, the young boy kind of has a little side conversation with Vincent, like, this guy gets out after 25 years and nobody thinks nothing of it, and Vincent kind of tells him, like, show respect. All the people he could snitch on are dead anyway. Right. So, you know, they still looking at him a little sideways, but they know that he ain't got nothing on them.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know how tight this family is.
Well, we're about to see.
I don't know. We see some cracks. I think Teresi going to be up out of there. Sammy, and who knows, Tommy might take Teresi out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tight, but it's rubber band tight.
Right.
You know, there's some expansion going on. So, I mean, anybody's expendable, you know?
Yeah. And then even when Connie was brought up in the discussion, she was looking at Teresi a little sideways too, because Connie is more involved than y'all know.
I like Connie, because Connie, she has her pulse on everything, and two, I like the way she controls Teresi. Yeah. She can manipulate.
Even the other guys seem to have like a reverence for her.
Yeah.
Whenever her name was brought up, where's Connie? How's she doing? I should have checked up on her. Da, da, da. Like she holds a very like a position of respect with them.
Like it always is. You know, women have this role over us men. You know, particularly when we're married. You know, you all heads of the household, so to speak, within that vernacular. You know, you all control things, and it shows out here. It also brings home the whole point with Tasha, and I know we're gonna get there.
We getting there.
We're gonna get there, but
we're gonna get there.
I am tired of Tasha playing the victim role. Okay. So we're gonna get there. I know. I'm not rushing.
Right. Tiff, I know it's coming. Tiffany, we gonna argue about this.
We're gonna get there, Tiffany.
We gonna get there.
He's playing the victim role.
Hold your clap back.
He was out of control. Like they're grieving in different ways, But
So
for
she can't do
him
it.
to go off on
She's
her
ready.
and call her
She
selfish
She can't do it,
and all of
y'all.
this stuff,
She
no,
can't
he
do
was
it.
out of line.
Tiffany,
We gonna get there.
slow your roll, Tiff. We're gonna be there in a minute. Just slow your roll. I know you
Yeah,
can't. I know.
see, you did that on purpose because you thought I was.
I just
So,
want.
so go
Look,
ahead.
all right.
Go
Before we
ahead
jump the
and,
gun, though, I just
get
want
us back on
to.
track.
I wanted to finish up with Connie though, because when Teresi was on that call with Mock, she was privy to it. She kind of picked up. She knew something wasn't right, and she called him out on it. So
she listens with a third ear.
she did.
Okay, so she knows what's going on.
And I think she was very surprised to hear that Teresi had became a
a
rat.
rat. Yeah, that's.
And it's
She
crazy
was
to
surprised.
No,
it's
yeah.
crazy to me that he doesn't think that he's a rat just because he's not snitching on the family.
Yeah.
And he made it very clear that he doesn't consider Tommy family when he said it's just Tommy and Ghost. It's not like I'm telling on the family. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's-
that was very
that's
telling.
Very
Right.
pivotal. Yeah,
But
that's.
he said something about, notice he said about Ghost first. I
Yep.
think his issue really is
It's
with
with
Ghost.
Ghost.
No, it is with Ghost.
But he doesn't
it's
care
a-
that Tommy is collateral
Right.
damage.
Yeah, he does not care. He does not care.
And
that
that's exactly what-
Tommy is going to get caught up
that's
in this
it-
mix.
that's
But he
exactly
said
what
that
Tommy
Tom
would be.
has a hard on.
And you know what?
Ghost.
I,
And the only way to do it is to get close to Tommy
Yep.
to get to Ghost. But Ghost is the target.
Yeah.
well, yeah, but at the same time, he must not care too much about Tommy because of the fact that to get Ghost, you will also get Tommy, and I know he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot think that without getting Ghost, or rather getting Ghost, and Tommy's going to be left out scot free to join the family forever.
Right.
No, it's
It
not
don't
going to
work like
that way.
that. Yeah, I agree with you. And he seems like he's too hard pressed to help Tommy with throwing these parties. And I know that Tommy is very suspicious of him.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that now after he's kind of endeared himself with Tommy, do you think that Tommy will open up to Teresi?
No, not.
He's struggling. He's struggling with it.
It
But
seems
Ghost
like
told
he's
him,
getting closer.
You better not tell him about our business. He
Mhm.
said,
Well,
yeah, I know he's been your family for 15 minutes, but I've been your family all your life.
But you
But
remember, he
remember
said the
what-
same thing about Holly.
right, said the same thing, and
And
remember,
he told her everything.
and Kanan said he got a new puppy.
And look what happened.
And
It was a mistake to
Well,
tell Holly all of that.
It's also going to be a mistake if Teresi tries to take out Ghost and Tommy finds that out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's going to
Oh
be a
yeah,
mess.
he's gonna have to choose again. And I think if you go up against go against Ghost, you're gonna be on the wrong side of history.
You have to
If you go up
Every
against
time.
Ghost, I
be.
mean,
You have to be.
Tommy's loyalty is to Ghost.
Exactly.
Yep. And with Tommy, even the stuff that he does is consistently come back up with Proctor. Because now he's
man.
in the hot seat now, for real.
That raid at Proctor's
Poor
house.
Proctor.
I
And
hope.
Proctor probably wishes he never met them guys.
Yeah, I mean, his family life is in shambles.
I sure hope Proctor called in a cleaner because
Or got the floors replaced, something.
Something because
Well, I hope so. But when he had that debarment hearing, it came out that Proctor, he comes from a crime family.
Yep.
right.
So when he said, I know a guy, even though he's supposedly clean and a lawyer and stuff, he still has contacts. So I'm hoping that them dirty contacts, that dirty family, hooked him up. Because if there is any trace of blood or whatever in that household,
It's a wrap.
he's going down. And I don't know.
And he would have to. And he would have to
not built
go.
for this life.
And
I
remember,
don't know if he would be able to withstand the questioning and all of that.
Absolutely not.
well, the question is, Proctor has a lot to lose. I mean, with his daughter and everything like that, he's going to turn because he's not going to take.
Well, he knows what happened to Sandoval, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sandoval was going to turn, too. And he knows he was privy to the information that Tommy and them got somebody on the inside to get Sandoval. So he knows the reach that Ghost and Tommy have. And if he misses on them, he's out of there.
But I can't see him taking a murder rap for anybody, because we're not looking at 2 or 3 years on a murder rap.
That's gonna be a life thing.
That's
No, I don't think
he's not built for that.
He is like
He's
a
not.
rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
Like he is the murder rap or or be killed.
But see,
Well-
we already know who's behind this, and it's Mock and Sachs, and they had already mentioned that they're trying to get Proctor to snitch on Angie, Ghost, and Tommy.
Because they're working hard on Proctor.
Yes.
And really, Proctor's got it both ways. Because whether he snitches or not, if he goes to jail for murder, he's dead anyway. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
because he's not
That's
built.
what I'm saying.
He's not built for this.
Right.
It's a lose-lose situation all the way around. I think Proctor, and we talked about this 2 episodes ago, he might have to take Angie up on her offer. Like, he might have to work with Angie because Angie has issues with both Mock and
That's
Sachs.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Anyway, he might have to, like, work with her to keep them all out of trouble and, get Mock
Hey,
and
the
Sachs
enemy
off
of
their
my
back.
enemy is
we're
my
d-
friend.
We're a day late and a dollar short on that because feds have already been there, and what we don't know is what they've collected. We don't know what they found.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
and so that's a day late, dollar short. He should have taken that offer up at that point in time.
Yeah, the other thing that's a concern is his ex-wife, because she mentioned
Oh, yeah.
that she wants joint custody again.
Yeah, she's 30 days sober, and now she thinks that she can just walk up in there and start taking things.
Yeah, and
Right.
we already know that's gonna be a big fight. So I wonder if Mock and Sachs might not try to use her to get to Proctor as well.
Oh, I think they would use anyone.
Yeah, if
They
they
would
find.
use anyone.
Yeah, but what she knows or doesn't know, as a defense attorney, you can break her apart. I mean, she's a drunk.
No, she's a drug addict.
Yeah, I mean that's what. Yeah, she's a drug addict. She's whatever. So she's not exactly what you call an ideal witness to anything.
No,
Right.
no. And she's gonna have to be more than 30 days sober
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
get joint custody.
That
So
exactly.
she has a history. But see, the thing is this, though. If she is to communicate with the court and tell them that that Proctor was the one supplying the drugs
Oh, that's true.
just to keep custody, that would
That would
That
tarnish
would
his
hurt
image.
too.
The
And,
whole
yeah,
lot.
and as well as send the baby to the state
Being in custody.
custody of the state.
Yep.
So, I hope. You know what? Dang, Proctor. It
Sounds
looks like
like
all
every-
you can do is take that rap.
I don't know. It just sounds like a lose-lose situation. Either
It's-
way
It
you
is a
go.
lose-lose situation.
But I'm saying if he tries to fight it, his baby could be a ward of the state. If he turns, he's dead. If he goes to jail, he's dead.
Yeah, I don't
What
know how
choices
he
does
gonna
he
get
have?
out of this. Hopefully, that warrant that they searched his house for, I hope that everything comes out clean from that situation.
I'm telling
Because if not, it's all downhill
It's all-
from here.
you. You might as well start looking at orange being your favorite color.
Orange is the new black.
That's right.
Well, I want to talk about your boy Dre next, because old boy Dre and Alicia.
I'm starting calling him Teflon. Because Dre seems to be slipping kind
Oh
of
my goodness, so much going on with Dre. So he and Alicia are having this conversation. He's talking about the setbacks that he's having getting the international club business going, and Alicia kind of like, she checks him a little bit. She's all up in the business, making sure she's running things. She's privy to everything.
Playing
And
with
of
his
course,
little
Diego's $60,000 tab comes up. And I'm like, you know what, Dre, you and Diego, y'all are butting heads, and it's
Yeah.
about to blow up.
But I think I'd rather be on Dre's side at this point.
But I don't think Diego is going to appreciate the fact that Dre snitched on him about the tab and about him in the club with all the women being aggressive.
But he can't do anything about it because sister is on.
We know she running things.
She running things, and
She running things. She seems to like Dre too.
And, well, she does. She likes him for.
She said like she's trying to come on to him.
Yeah.
And she basically made Diego humiliate himself, like
Right.
by
Exactly.
giving him money to Dre and stuff. And if you can see Dre's face, Dre had a real smug look on his face
Yep.
too when Diego apologized. I was like, oh, Dre is feeling himself.
Mm-hmm. And also the fact that Cristobal has now been brought in to run the books at the club.
That's gonna be a mess too.
Yes.
Between Dre and Cristobal.
Yes. I'm already suspecting that Cristobal wants to rise to the top just as much. And
yeah.
I feel like that's going to create some contention between those two where they're going to be forced to separate.
Right
titles.
now, if I had to play a card, Dre has the card right now. So it depends on how things work out with.
But he's getting more power, and they trust Cristobal more than they do Dre. So it may be a situation where Cristobal might even try to make a move on Dre, try to kill him, or Dre might have to kill Cristobal. But this is it's a trip, you know.
Well,
it's looking real. These alliances are looking really shaky.
Yep.
Well, Dre getting into the political world with your brother Tate.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, you know, there could be some benefit to that though for Dre.
Not in the business he's in.
Well, let me put it this way.
You know why he's doing it.
We know why.
He's doing it because, you know, when Cristobal said, hey, now that
Alicia and
the
Diego
feds have picked up the Jimenez, Ghost and Tommy and Kanan are going to come for us because it's going to look like they no longer have that protection.
Correct.
Right.
So Dre basically did that move, that political move, to basically try to boss up on Ghost and let him know, like, hey, I'm still protected.
He's trying to save his own life.
Well, yeah.
And buy himself some time.
Right, but it saves his ass too because, you know, being in the political scene like that, you know, you're protected in certain ways. So it adds a little.
I mean, yeah, we all know that's the reason why Ghost hasn't murked Rashad at this point, because he's a public figure.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna get him though.
Oh, he's gonna get him.
Oh, look.
He was like, I'm never gonna forget you.
Oh, the way
that was the best.
To the table, and the way he was looking at him,
I'm telling you,
I was like, hey.
I would never want somebody looking at me like that because you can count the days, okay, that you are still alive. Because he looked at Brother Tate as if, yeah,
it was crazy.
Next week, next month, you need to be looking over your shoulder.
And I think it was a smart move on Rashad's behalf because, as Courtney Kemp mentioned in the after show, that Rashad doesn't have any way of controlling Ghost at this point. So he brought in somebody younger that he can control. And he seems to think that because Dre was Ghost's protege, that he can control him more than he could with Ghost.
That's like somebody raising cobras. You know, you might want to do that, but that's a very dangerous thing he did. I mean, because he
was like cheesing big time when he saw that. And I started thinking, and my family and I was discussing this about Dre, and I was like, and Tate, I was like, I think he a kingpin on the low. I really think, you know, he's using politics as a cover.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, he probably is a boss. He probably knows who Ghost is.
He does know.
He's got
why he bought Dre. I think that at some point in time, he's probably going to roll up on Ghost in his street clothes, just like in that movie Deuces. And I think he's going to, like, reveal himself to really be some type of boss.
Oh, yeah. We already, like, from last season, when he initially rolled up on Ghost, he knew exactly who he was.
And he knows who Dre is. I mean, look, he's in it. And, you know, which is why he told Dre what he told Dre. You know, that this was a good spot to be in, essentially based on who you are.
Yep. It's good to have people in high places and have a good image.
That's right.
So that's everything.
So he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, I just could not get over the way Ghost eyed him after he said, I'm never going to forget this.
And you see how cool Ghost is, though? I mean, Ghost
Yeah, that's he is cool under pressure, boy.
I mean,
except when he gave that speech when he thought he saw Raina.
Well, that would have tripped anybody out because, you know, look, I'm watching TV and I'm like, I kind of gasped. Yeah. You know, because that was not a scene I was expecting. I wasn't expecting that.
Right,
and so that was perfect to put her in like that. That was perfect.
And I think it was smart to Ghost too. I mean, because he doesn't want to be controlled by Tate. And after Tate was like, no, let me do the speech. He was like, no, I got this. Goes up there, calls off the music. He making his speech. And I really kind of felt bad for him in this moment. This is the first time I really felt bad for Ghost in a long time. I'm saying in a long time.
In that moment.
You said
I did, because I was like, wow.
You said you didn't?
Wow. I said I did.
Oh, wow.
I did. D-I-D.
Let me look at the timer. I got to record this.
Because, I mean, and you can see the look on Tate's face. And he was saying he thought that Ghost was unstable. And when that happened, he was looking like, I told you.
Yeah, I mean.
It like confirmed that Ghost was unstable.
And the investors are already looking at him sideways. I hear he has the history and blah, blah. So, I mean, it didn't do anything to help his cause.
And Tate knows how to clean up, so he goes and tells it's all a rumor. He does damage control pretty well. So we'll see what happens. But Tate, watch your back.
Yeah. And moving in, or still on Ghost a little bit, because he went and told Tasha about the whole situation at the event and how he choked, and basically it was her fault for not being there to cover his butt to give the speech.
Okay, this is where you come in.
I could not believe him.
I know you got a lot to say about that one.
What?
Tiffany is
Are you quiet?
for the first time at a loss for words.
No. I was a little distracted. I was a little distracted.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I was quiet and stuff. So I need to
get focused. Get focused.
Yeah.
Get focused, because here we are now talking about your boy.
Well, I
About
thought,
Ghost?
I thought
Yes.
that it was,
he was out of control.
Yeah.
Ghost was out of control. They are both grieving. They have both suffered a major loss, with their kids and everything. And they're grieving in different ways. But for him to go in the way he did on Tasha and call her selfish and all of that stuff, he was out of line.
Yeah, but let me say this. Have you ever had a situation with your spouse, your boyfriend, and you all been planning something for a minute, and then all of a sudden, because it happened to me years ago, but you planning something and you're looking forward to this thing, and then when you get to that person's house, they're in their jammies doing whatever, or not even thinking about going. That'll piss anybody off.
Well, first of all, that was always his project, Raymond's project. As she said last week, she said no matter how many buildings you build, the people you put the ground, all that stuff, it's not going to bring her back. And I'm not saying she shouldn't be supportive, but at the time, she couldn't get out of bed. She was tired. But for him to come at her the way she was, and the way he brushed past her,
uncalled
he was
for.
talking crazy to her. He was out of line, and you shouldn't even condone that type of behavior, because he has not.
Hold up.
He's
I did not say.
He's not the only one that suffered a loss here.
Tiffany.
They should be supporting one another.
Exactly.
Tiffany.
They are equally at fault. You wanted to say that last week, that it was equally their fault. Some of the commenters
That shit got me.
was trying to come for me, trying to say that I was one-sided about Tasha.
Okay.
You guys
Tiffany.
are right. They're equally at fault.
Tiffany.
But
Tiffany.
both behavior is unacceptable.
Tiffany, I never said that I condone that. In fact, Tiara and I had talked about that, and you're right. I did not condone his behavior, pushing Tasha or actually, butting shoulders like that. That was wrong. I'll admit that. That was dead wrong. I'm saying only that I can understand being pissed off when you expect somebody to do something and then they turn around. Not, it would have been different if she had called him.
But who said she ever said she was going?
I think he expected her to.
I don't
He
know.
assumed.
Okay.
He assumed she was going.
And we're
because he assumed that everybody's supposed to do what those wants them to do.
But you're making an assumption, Tiffany.
Who said that she was ever going? She's tired of playing the role of the perfect wife and everything. And the bottom line is, it takes a while to bounce back from something like that.
It does.
And
I think
he wants time to grieve, and he wants to act like everything is okay, and he's not like we discussed a week or so ago in the other episodes. We talked about how they need to come together to grieve.
Right.
And we wanted to see him show some intimacy towards Tasha. He has not done that. He has not consoled her. They haven't really consoled one another. The closest I saw him come to that was when he said, I saw her and everything. And then when she said, I see her every day. And then I was like, okay, this looks like this could almost be a tender moment. And then he flipped it when he said to her, yeah, but if you would have been there to give the speech, then this wouldn't have happened. So he went right back to throwing daggers at her.
Okay, but Tiffany, understand, his method of grieving is getting the project erected and in her name. That's how he's handling his grief. Now, I'm not saying. Now, listen. I'm not saying that he was right in the way in the manner in which he spoke to her. But what I'm saying is, and you said it very clearly a minute ago, they are both grieving in different formats, different ways.
Right.
And what they both have to understand is your way isn't any better or worse than mine. And so there's a lot of
But he's being verbally abusive.
well,
Like I get that they
but
are
Tiffany,
grieving in different ways, but he is being verbally abusive, and then
because things aren't going
and everything. Nobody like.
Tiffany, things aren't going the
I don't
way
blame her for rolling out.
things aren't going in the fashion that is suiting him, that suits him. And in fact, what I'm saying is things aren't going in a way that he is grieving. So, he expects her to be there. He expects her to be the model wife, the person that, is by his side. All of the things that most men would expect their wives to be anyway. And you just said we're going to get to that point about her rolling out. See, and I knew you would have that attitude. When she rolls out, it's okay. When he rolled out, he was wrong.
We get there.
No.
We getting there though.
No, we'll get there.
He only came back. Brian only came back because he pretty much had to. They broke up, and then he went to jail and everything, and he needed to be there to protect his family and for appearance's sake. If it wasn't for all of that, he would not be there.
Well,
so she was right in a sense that he left a long time ago. He left, and we talked about this. He left, and when the kids went over there, the kids were sleeping on the floor.
Well, before we get there though,
so he left her a long time. He said last season to her when they were arguing in the closet when he got out of jail. He said to her, when he said, you left this family, he said, I didn't leave this family, I left you.
yeah.
So he said out his own mouth that he left her.
Yes, we
get
understand
that.
why.
So now he's shocked and appalled and clutching the pearls because she finally rolled out. Get out of here.
No.
You were on the hands list this week, Ghost.
No, you're so quick to put the hands.
I can't say I disagree with Tiffany. I mean, I think that Tasha, especially when she had the conversation with her mother told her that the way she and Ghost were grieving was different. And her mom brought that to her attention and said, let him do his project. That's the way he's grieving. And I couldn't say I disagreed. But at the same time, I don't blame Tasha because...
But her mother also said
her mom seems to think that she's grieving because of Terry.
I don't agree with her going to Silver. Now,
right.
if she gonna roll out, she needs to roll out and just start.
Or be alone.
She needs to start out with that balance.
Exactly.
I do not agree.
And that's my point.
That.
And that's my point. My point is now I'm not saying that she is rolling out because of Silver, but the mere fact that you had that meetup with him and he's trying to get you to stay at his place and you're trying
But that's not the move. I don't think she's going to do that.
Yeah.
Because first of all,
we have to.
Because the kids don't know her like that. When she was contemplating leaving with Sean, the kids trusted and liked Sean and stuff. They knew him like that. I don't think that Tasha would leave and take her kids to go stay with Silver. So I think he was saying that he was inviting her and stuff. Ultimately, I don't think that she's going to do that.
I think Silver extended.
She's not going to take her kids to no strange man.
I think Silver extended that invitation for them to stay with him because he knows the kind of heat that's coming Ghost's way because of this whole situation with Proctor and all of them.
I think he just wants Tasha with him. I mean
that too.
He's going to take the kids.
He does. He
that
does.
too.
He wants Tasha at all costs.
Exactly.
At this point now, but
I didn't see.
Tasha is going to do with sex for her kids. She's not going to go stay with him.
I mean, even outside of that, Tasha has already said.
He's out of there, but I don't condone her.
Right.
She wasn't that. She wasn't that defiant either. So I cannot say for a certain. With any certainty that that's what she will or won't do. I can only say that it came up. She kind of played it down, but I can't say with any certainty what she might do at this point in time. To be perfectly honest.
My prediction is, Tasha has already mentioned this episode that she told Terry, she said, you're not that objective. And Tasha got a lot of bones in her closet. And Terry is not going to be willing to hear them with the open mind that she needs him to have.
No, you can't.
Okay? So that's number one. That's one reason why she can't be with Terry. Number two, next week, as you see in the previews, she's already still riding for Ghost, even though they're not together. And Terry is like, well, why are you still trying to protect him? And he doesn't understand the background of the situation and that she's implicated in all of this stuff. So that's another reason why they just can't work out. Tasha needs to stop hopping from relationship to relationship and learn to be alone. And I think that that's ultimately what she's trying to do.
But they can't afford to be alone. I mean, look, as we all said, nobody is innocent here. So you're very vulnerable splitting up.
But the more people you invite into your situation, the
And
messier it
that's
gets.
That's what happens when you start going alone. Look, they really got to sit down and figure this out, because I'm gonna tell you, by them splitting up, it makes the both of them even more culpable to.
Vulnerable.
But look,
Right,
that's the thing.
Right. The only
That's
way
the
they
thing.
can really survive this is together. I agree with you on that.
Because they're all
when you
implicated.
start inviting
Exactly.
other people into the party, like you're also putting them in danger.
Yeah.
Because the more they know, the more of a liability they become, and the
Sure.
more of a threat that they become to other people.
Yep.
And ghost identity and everything. People that get involved with them. Look at poor Proctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Your life will be in shambles too, dealing with them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean,
think
this is a
that's-
tangled web that is not going to go away because the two of them decide to call it a day. It's not going to happen. And what I'm simply saying about Tasha is, now you want to play the out game. You had a chance to do that early on when he wanted out, and that didn't seem very feasible to you. And now,
And no, she didn't support
Well,
him in the
yep.
beginning. We got that. We got that. We know she did not.
And
But
so-
I think
Now she's growing up, and she had to grow up the hard way
There we
because
go.
she lost her kid behind this game.
I was just going to say that because she was talking with her mom and she said, I always thought that we were untouchable, that the life wouldn't catch up to us. But now that it has and I see the destruction, it took her baby away from her.
Yeah,
So,
it's
I mean, that's
crazy.
going to force you to
And then it's
grow.
Take her other child because Tariq has been damaged
Yep.
so
by this game.
so
So her life is a mess. So yeah. So now her viewpoint has changed, and that's reality. Sometimes
And
you
it's
think
sad.
one
Yeah.
way, and then you grow up and something life throws a curveball, and then you're like, okay, I thought this is the way
But
life should
Okay.
be.
Exactly.
And it didn't happen.
But as
But
in
they-
most situations in life, sometimes it takes a death for you to really wake up to how, your situation and,
But they're
and how
not-
you were living.
they're not living a life of neutrality where they can afford to grow up at this point. Growing up means yes, you identify and understand how and why you're where you are and how you got there. But more importantly, you got to sit down. The two of them have got to sit down and say, okay, we got to clean this up, because right now, just growing up and leaving isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
It's not going to cut it. You're causing.
No, it's not. It's not. They gotta deal with this together. But at the same time, I don't know that right now, because the way that Ghost is communicating with her and stuff, the way they're communicating and stuff, I mean, it's just like it's too volatile.
That's my point.
Mhm.
That even though Ghost might instigate, but it doesn't take Tasha long to get up there either. So at some point they got to sit down and find a way to talk. They have got to find
Well,
a
they
way to
have
talk.
to. They have children. They still have children to raise.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the main thing, I was just so shocked at Ghost's reaction because, as Tiffany was saying, Ghost left her first. And so Tasha had been there for him after he went to jail, after he got out of jail, and he still expects her to play this role when she's grieving and she wants to move on from the situation. And then he flips the script to get mad at her.
But
He has a lot of nerve.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He's got to play the role. He cannot take time off to grieve, and that's the problem with his position in life.
Mm-hmm.
With not only his the position that he wants to be, that's the legitimate side, and also the gangster side. He doesn't have time to do that, which is why most gangsters that are in his position don't have families in the first place, because
Well, that's what
Yep.
I'm saying. The reality is he shouldn't have had a family, but he does.
exactly.
And
So
so since he does have a family, he has to act accordingly.
That's fact.
And-
You are a kingpin and all that stuff, but you chose to bring children into this world,
Mhm.
and you chose to make her your wife and stuff. So he needs to act accordingly.
Yeah, and I think the reality of the situation is, as we've seen with two sides of Ghost, we've seen Jamie and we've seen Ghost, and then we see him be this gangster drug dealer and then try to be this clean-cut club owner, he can't have it both ways. He has to pick a
He
life.
doesn't want it both ways, ladies.
I know, but
He wants
thus
out.
far he's had both lifestyles, and
But-
my point is
but
by
not
trying to
because he
live.
wanted it.
I know, but
Not
I'm
because
just
he wanted
saying he did want. At some point, he was trying to transition between the lives,
He-
and that's where they both happened simultaneously. And my
If
point
his
is,
wife
this
had allowed
is a
him to make
blowout
that
from
initial
that.
transition, we wouldn't be here. So, and I keep harping on.
But we
harping
all
on
know
that.
Ghost does what he wants to do. If he really wanted to get out, he could have got out, which is
There's
what
no-
he did ultimately anyway.
Okay, ladies, blood in, blood out. Okay, if you're getting out,
That's true.
You're
That's true.
blood in,
It's gonna be
blood
difficult for him to get out.
It is. I mean,
keep saying,
I never said it was
at
going to
the
be
end of
easy.
this series, I don't know if he's gonna make it out alive.
I mean, we've been called that.
so that's my point. You're not going to get out of this cleanly. And you know what?
But my point is, he seemed to have thought that from previous seasons that
Well,
he could just have a clean break.
I think that at the time, at that.
But see, that's my
particular
point
in time-
though.
at that
If he
particular
really
point in
wants
time-
to do something, he'll do
No,
it.
at that particular point in time, he wanted to give it away. I think if there was any window of him being able to get out, that was it. And that window closed very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And because now you've just dug yourself a deeper hole, and everything you do now, you keep digging a deeper hole.
Yeah.
You know, with your family, you've dug a deeper hole. With the business, now you're trying to kill drug lords.
Dre,
You know,
yeah,
Dre, every
yeah.
minute. You got too much blood on your hands, bro.
Mm-hmm. That's fact. I don't. Yeah, the only way he can get out at this point is in 6 feet under.
It looks that way.
So-
I mean, it really doesn't look. It looks quite grim for Ghost. You know, and as much as I am a Ghost fan, I have to say that. But again, he has to have a demeanor. He has to have a certain, way about him that does not include grieving over your daughter. And I'm sure.
But he
that
shows
scene-
another side when he's with Angie, though. So he's capable of being,
Okay, we
with
all
a
know.
different person.
Yeah, if you're in
because
love,
he's very vulnerable when he's with her.
because he's in love with her. He's been in love with her. We know that. So, and we know that that's.
I get that.
Well, look, speaking of your girl Angie, look, okay, Angie had a lot going on this week too. So
Angie's going to the bang. Angie's going to the bang soon, too.
Yeah, that was some.
yeah, so Donovan brought her the files that he got from Blanca last week. Of course, we find out later that Blanca still has some files herself
She ain't
that
great.
she done held on to. So she's still putting the pieces
She's still
together
putting-
behind the
right,
scenes.
Exactly.
Which
Oh, yeah, she's doing a great knock.
Yep, and she
She's
gonna
doing-
get Greg knocked
doing
too. She gonna end up knocked dead too. She get knocked off.
She can. She's expendable.
And then also with her pursuing the Jimenez, so we seen how that went down.
Wow. And see, there you go, chasing that thing, and she thought that I don't know why she didn't see that man coming in the first place.
Oh my
I don't know
God,
why
Steve.
she didn't see Steve coming in the first place.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay.
Because she was blinded by the king.
Exactly.
She hasn't had any sex ghost. And Greg. So she was blinded by it, and she called herself trying to get over ghost by getting under the king,
Yep.
and it backfired.
Yeah, and I mean we called that last week. We said we didn't trust that guy, and we could all tell that he was there for something else other than just being in the hallway and passing by.
Exactly. Just happens to knock her down and have her papers spread all over the floor, and that was just by chance. Yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the way that Angie got to the Jimenez in the first place is because of Arturo.
Right.
So we know that he was a softie from the jump.
Oh, done.
And he snitched.
He's done.
Was singing in
Yeah,
the
he-
first 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
interview.
Arturo-
Oh, yeah, that's why Arturo, he's out of there, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
here's-
He's going to get killed. 'Cause
Here's my
Clearly.
next week's prediction. He's out. Next week he's gone.
well, Dre and the Cristobal already suspect that there's a rat, so it's
Yeah.
only a matter of time
Yeah.
before they figure it out.
Yeah.
My thing is with the whole bust between Alicia and Diego, I'm wondering if they don't think that maybe Dre was involved somehow since he happened to be leaving the scene just as they were rolling
Yeah, but
in.
Alicia, first of all, she tried to turn in her own brother, and then second of all, what she said to him.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
too.
And when
Because she is trying to,
And so she
blame
knows.
her brother.
So she knows where the dirt is. So she knows she's got to get rid of him. And she has a thing for Dre, not just personal, but I think she understands that. Just like she said in the car, he's expanding the business.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that her brother is the one that's holding up everything.
Yep, he's a liability for them.
A big time.
And at this point, he didn't know that she knew about his gun being missing.
Exactly.
But she kind of used that as a point of reference to set him up to take the fall for why they got arrested, pretty much. And what I was just thinking about was, how did this Steve guy even know about the gold gun being at the stash house and all that? And I'm like,
for somebody.
he is
His boss
involved.
is working for somebody. It's either something's going on, but he keeps talking about his boss. I really like to know who his boss is, because his boss is working with somebody.
And also the other Hispanic cop that Angela is working with, I think his name is Rodriguez or something like that. I think he knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah, she seems...
Because he was so quick to say, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you know something.
Oh, you talking about Medina?
Oh,
Yeah,
Medina, there you
right.
go. Yep, him. I'm like, yeah, he know a little bit more than he's portraying. So I still got my eye on him. The other thing is with Alicia mentioning that, Diego was screwing up so much and how she was praising Dre, she's creating a lot of, I think she's basically setting the stage for there to be this big blow up between those two. She's sowing the seeds of jealousy between Dre and Diego.
But I think she really wants her brother out. I think she thinks that with herself and Dre, that they can get the business done. And it's true. I mean, her brother's, he's a hothead. He's like mommy. Yeah, he's, in fact, and then, and by him being so close to her, he thinks he can do whatever he wants. So, no, he's out one way or the other.
Right. Well, beyond that, I was wondering if she wasn't planting seeds in Dre's ear so that he could take Diego out.
I don't think so. I don't think.
Right.
You think that?
Because she's already creating this jealousy.
Yeah, but
and
I think
we already see that she doesn't want to do it herself. She was trying to give him up to Steve.
I think she would get somebody else to take her brother out.
I don't know.
Well, she tried to get Steve.
No, I don't know.
Well, she tried to get.
She tried to get Steve.
She tried to get Steve to do it. I mean, she told him, "You keep my brother, let me go."
Yep.
So she was already.
But he said, "You want it done, you do it yourself."
Well, yeah, exactly.
So,
but now
he don't want no part of that.
No, he doesn't, and nor should he.
Mm-hmm.
But Dre, I don't see Dre taking out Diego.
Well, look, your girl is gonna be in trouble, Angie. Because first of all, she caught herself trying to flex on
Alicia.
What's her face? What's the woman's name?
The Jimenez, Alicia.
For Diego's sister.
Oh yeah, Alicia.
Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she called her B.
Yeah, called her B.
And
you seen the way Alicia looked at her too.
She looked at Angie, and then when she got out, she looked at Angie. I was like, see, Angie don't know what type of danger she's in.
Exactly. Yeah, because Alicia ain't nothing to play with at all.
No.
Yeah, and
She
so
was having Angie about that for breakfast.
another thing that came up this week from past seasons, Angela had requested some files, and she found out that Tommy has been being tracked, which the tracker had been placed on his car last season, and it's just coming up again, which we told y'all got to make sure you stay fresh and keep your memory up on stuff that's happened before, because it will come back. And I'm wondering if that tracker being on his car might not place Tommy at the scene of Diego and Alicia's arrest, because he was spying on them.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm wondering if that might not look like something it wasn't. Instead of looking like he was spying, it might look like he's involved.
They'd have to be searching for that, though. They'd have to be looking for that.
Well, Sax and Mock are looking for anything.
Yeah, I think, though, with Alicia and Diego actually, she not being able to interview them, and they just get out a jail card, right then and there. I think everybody's taken behind that, because as you saw, everyone in that room thought that they had captured one of the biggest crime.
Yeah, they were celebrating.
Yeah, everybody was celebrating. So it'll be interesting how that plays a part even more so for Angie, because theoretically that was her her operation.
And then the other thing that came up too was Daryl, the guy that she had been using to get different files from.
And I was waiting for that one to come.
Woo, man!
She threw him under the bus. He was looking all rough in that interview. I was like, oh.
Man.
Yeah, but remember when they asked who else had your
password and logins?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and so Blanca, I think that she's definitely gonna find something out from that alone, because they'll
alone.
see that Angela is still using people's passwords to delete stuff and manipulate files and even more. So it's about to be a big blow up. I think it could come next week too, because we know, like I said, episode 5 is always the turning point where a lot of things that have been building explode.
True.
Well, I think that that Angie, now that she and Ghost are seeing each other or whatever they're doing.
We don't know what they're doing.
I think she's gonna end up telling Ghost about her her alliance with Tasha. I got a feeling she's gonna fill him in.
Well, I don't know about the Tasha thing. I think it's more so. Well, obviously they met up, like you said. You mentioned that, and I think that they have both hit rock bottom at this point. And I think they are really the main point that Angie has finally chosen to return his calls is because she doesn't know where else to go. She's been let down. She's at rock bottom, just like Ghost is at rock bottom. And I think that first and foremost, they're trying to console each other. They're looking for comfort.
Right.
And then from there, whatever they choose to reveal is.
Well, you know how they are with comfort.
Yep. That's probably going to happen next week.
We can expect, what did I say in my other prediction? They can be back up in it.
Look, I'm calling it for next week.
Well, yeah. They're going to be, I'm good with that. I am really, because they have to save themselves, because Angie really has nobody else to turn to, nor does Ghost. They're going to have to come together headwise and figure this out, because they have hit rock bottom. There is no place else for them to go. So if they're going to start trusting anybody, they're going to have to start trusting themselves after they get their little move on.
Yeah, and I thought it was good writing. The last sentence of the whole episode was of the waitress asking both of them as they're sitting down at the restaurant, "Do you guys know what you want?"
And then
I thought that was really telling too.
And
I'm like, both looked at each other.
Yeah, they both looked at each other. That was good. That was good writing.
And the truth of the matter is, no, they don't.
No.
I mean, that's just the bottom line.
No, I thought it the other way. You know what you want. The next step was to bone. When you know what you want, they would be so awkward. It was like, that's what they want.
And as much as they want that, though, Tiff, I don't think that that's the crux of their relationship or what they desire from one another.
I would never say that. I know for sure that he loves her. They love each other.
Exactly, and
they love each other.
And so,
and with that is, and their relationship, they always had chemistry in their sexual relationship. That's just because they did love each other.
Right.
And because they've been apart all this time, and all this stuff has happened, they're coming together. That sex scene is probably gonna be explosive.
Well, yeah, and then what I see from that though is I see Angie accepting everything that Ghost has. Who he is, what he we know she was willing to help him to get legit, but it looks like that she might just go ahead and acquiesce and say, okay, I know you're Ghost. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do to get ourselves out of this.
Well, she said that in season 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
As long as she's trying to be. She was like, I can try to move on. So she accepted that at the end of season 2.
No, but I'm saying right at this point, rather than trying to find a way to still get Ghost, the two of them may need to get Ghost.
Yeah, but I think that the stakes are too high for them to just let bygones be bygones. Like, they both got things that are out of their control right now.
But that's the problem, because they're all intertwined with one another. Neither one of them can step on some platform and say, hey, look at me, I'm clean. Nobody is clean in this, and that's the interesting thing about this whole style of writing for the show. I mean, everybody has dirty hands.
Yep. I mean, there's no way around it. So.
No, I agree.
Do you guys have any predictions for next week and anything that you can foresee happening? Just as a little refresher, in the previews for next week, I know that there was a scene where Dre is going to be the face of the QCP for Tate. And then Angela says, I don't think that you should be involved with Dre. She's kind of having another public outing with Ghost at a shoe store. And I'm like, here she goes, still being out on Front Street with these people that she knows are dirty.
She's accepted the fact.
Yeah, because she said her office told Angie that she is not supposed to be anywhere there.
Exactly.
As I said, she's accepted the fact.
Yeah, and here she goes in the shoe store with the man. Again. There's also another scene where it seems like Kanan, he's sowing some seeds of contention between Ghost and Tommy again. You can't move without Ghost. You gotta wait for him to give you the say so. I'm like, okay, he's creating another issue where they could potentially not be speaking again.
I like Kanan. I mean, aside from other than Ghost, Kanan's my boy. I like Kanan.
Do you really?
I really do.
I don't know. He's funny, but he's a hard character to like because he is grimy.
I like Kanan. I like him. You know where he's coming from.
Listen, one of my cousins likes Kanan. He likes Dre. He was like, yeah, I like all the ops.
There's also a telling scene for Ghost as he's in the church. So I think he's kind of having a come to God moment next episode. And the Reverend is telling him, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. And he's like, but every time I leave things alone, this is what happens. And
I don't see any coming to Jesus moment. He's got a lot to clean up. But I think I don't know who he wants worse, Tate or Dre. Because that look he had.
He probably want them both equally.
He want them both.
I know he wants them both, but I don't know. I think he's had his fill with Tate. Because, every turn, Tate seems to be there. And
I'm telling you, he's a kingpin on the low.
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if that came out.
Yeah. I think it was more than a coincidence that he brought Dre into the picture last season when,
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's a kingpin on the low. He knows who Ghost is. He knows that he's from the same neighborhood Ghost grew up in. Yeah, I think he's a kingpin on the low, and the political career is a cover-up. That's just,
I agree.
Okay.
I do agree with you there.
Okay, well, overall, I think that this episode was really good. It had a lot. It had plenty of stuff going on to keep you guessing about what could happen. At this point, my predictions are just as good as anyone else's. I can't really call it not too much, but I enjoyed this episode, and I think that next week, I keep saying next week because it's the 5th episode. Like I said, it's always a game changer. So I'm looking forward to next week.
I predicted that we'll find blood splatter in Proctor's apartment, which I really love to see. I'd love to see how they work that one.
I don't want that to happen, but it would make for good TV.
It's just getting stickier and stickier.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they work that. I really would.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Once again, please comment and let us know about how you feel about the show. Anything that you could predict for next week that we might not have called already. And let us know how you feel about Ghost and Tasha, too, because that's always a good topic of discussion.
And don't forget to hit the subscription button and the little bell on the side so that you'll be notified whenever the show posts.
And check us out on social media. We are obviously on YouTube. And then check out our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter. We are at The Spot Real Talk.
So you can't miss us.
Right. And next time, Tiffany will be back here in studio with us so that she can give you all the clapbacks in person.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Whatever, I'll be back in bell on.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. It's been real.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.